Hey Geekly, Kikai Wafra here, and today, pull up a stool, grab a drink, and settle in because we have got to talk about a headline that made me spit out my coffee this morning. We are diving into that special kind of pain that only geeks know, the television finale that makes you want to throw your remote through the screen. I'm looking at this new piece floating around on MSN titled Most Disappointing TV Finales, and it's name-dropping everything from Game of Thrones to, wait for it, Stranger Things. Yeah, we're going there. So, here's the deal. This article is basically a hall of shame. It rounds up the usual suspects, shows that held us captive for years, dominated the water cooler conversations, sold us millions of dollars in Funko Pops, and then, right at the finish line, tripped over their own shoelaces and face-planted into a pile of mud. We are talking about the Game of Thrones ending where, spoilers I guess, but come on, it's been years, Daenerys goes full tyrant in the span of 20 minutes, and Bran the Broken takes the throne because he had the best story. We are talking about How I Met Your Mother undoing 9 years of character development in a 40-minute montage, and interestingly, this list decides to throw Stranger Things into the conversation, which implies we are now preemptively disappointed or maybe just criticizing their season finales, which is a whole other can of worms. Now, let me play devil's advocate for a second. I want to be fair to the writers here. Ending a show is scientifically the hardest thing to do in Hollywood. Seriously, think about it. You have millions of fans, Reddit threads with better theories than the actual script, and hype that is physically impossible to live up to. If the writers give us a happy ending, we call it cheesy. If they give us a dark ending, we say they ruin the characters. It is a lose-lose situation. And honestly, lists like this exist because we need the therapy. We need to validate that feeling of betrayal. When you invest 100 hours of your life into a story, you want a payoff. So I get why this article exists. It's cathartic. It feels good to point at the screen and say, see, I wasn't crazy. That really was a garbage ending. It validates our time investment. But, and you knew there was a big but coming, it is when I look at why these finales fail that I start to get annoyed at the hypocrisy of these lists. Because we love to blame the writers. We say, oh, D&D rushed Game of Thrones, or the Lost Guys didn't have a plan. And sure, that's true, but the real villain here isn't usually the writer room, it is the corporate machine that demands a show keeps going long past its expiration date. See, this is the part that drives me up the wall. We're sitting here reading listicles about disappointing finales, but we aren't talking about the studio mandates that caused them. Take Stranger Things. Why is it even in the conversation for disappointing finales when the final season hasn't even dropped yet? Because the industry has trained us to expect disappointment. They milk these franchises dry. They stretch a 3-season story into an 8-season merchandise vehicle. By the time the finale rolls around, the story is so diluted, so full of filler and retcons to keep the shareholders happy, that no ending could possibly make sense. The hypocrisy is that we act like these are artistic failures, when really they are business successes. The bad ending is a feature, not a bug, because it means they squeezed every last drop of ad revenue out of it before letting it die. And seriously, including Stranger Things in a disappointing finales list before the actual series finale airs, that is just rage-baiting Geekly. That is the media cycle feeding on our anxiety. They know we're scared the Duffer Brothers are gonna mess it up, so they write the article now to get the clicks. It's cynical. It's treating the audience like we're just waiting to be angry. We're consuming content about how much we hate the content we consume. It's a snake eating its own tail. Anyway, the article's in the description if you want to relive the trauma of the Dexter finale or argue about The Sopranos fading to black. But I want to turn this over to you because you guys are the ones actually watching this stuff. So Geekly, you're the judge. Is a bad TV finale usually just a case of incompetent writing and huge egos, or is it the inevitable result of corporate greed dragging stories out until they break? Let me know what you think in the comments and I'll see you at the next round. Seriously, did they actually dare? Click the link and get ready for the serious chat I have to have. You'll never believe what they've done again.